Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, we are in the 17th chapter. First four verses we saw. What is the name of the chapter, anybody? What is the name of the chapter, Ria?
Sodashodhyayah.
Nahi. Name of the chapter is Shraddha Traya Vipaga Yoga. That is what. When you have to say, ask the name of the chapter, you have to go at the back and
Three
study
types of Shraddha.
3 types of Shraddha. So that you have to say. So, okay. Ria, can you are you ready? Or you were not busy today whole day?
Yeah, Swamiji. I'm ready with these verses, the new one, but I haven't gone back to the
Revise.
last.
Acha.
Yeah.
Okay, who can revise the class? Sharda?
Swamiji, today I'm coughing, but I'll try. So the first verse is where Krishna, again, Arjuna starts the question because he's just been given this whole chapter on what is the Asuri and Devi Sampath. So after that, he says that those who perform a ritual, O Krishna, without following the stipulations of the Shastra, but with full and complete Shraddha, then what is their basis? Do we call it Sattvic or Rajasic or Tamasic? So he's just asking a question generally so that we can start the new chapter where we understand how everything can be your faith and everything connected with your life can be divided.
No, he's asking the question that not that we start a new chapter. So that he has a question, therefore we start a new chapter.
Okay. Oh, he did, So we started a new chapter. So basically, he wants to know how important is it to follow the Shastra to the letter, or can you just have a lot of faith and do your own little acts of faith, or what you think is a ritual, and will that also be connected, and can that also be divided into, will it be sattvic, will it be rajasic, or will it be tamasic? So basically, then the Lord goes to tell him that even Shraddha has its own, can also be divided into 3 parts. It's not just that you follow the Shastra, is not the
What is Shraddha?
Shraddha is the faith, devotion.
That is what exactly Swamiji says not to say.
Don't use the word.
What is
Shraddha
Shraddha?
is trust.
Yes.
Words of the master, words of Veda, and total being in the manner in which you do.
Your total attitude towards
Total
life.
attitude.
Your whole life attitude.
Your whole lifestyle.
So
Shraddha is about how you perform all your tasks.
what is your attitude towards performing a given task?
So what
just
Arjuna is asking is basically
haphazardly something you perform, or you really put your total mind into it, or that is what sattva is. The way you have to do, you do it. So all these 3 kinds of shraddha is again your swabhava ja, it was said. It is born of your swabhava, your being, complete being in the mind. The mind, which is the nature of the mind is determined by the nature of your attitudes towards life, how you really interact.
Yes.
How you really present, what are your values? All these things has to be said. Right?
So basically, from your nature of your mind is how your Shraddha has to be finally determined. It's not just faith like Arjuna was asking. And then he says, listen to it because it's threefold. So he says there are shades and differences in the nature by which you can use it. So like Swamiji says, quite like how bread is in several types of bread. Like that, you have several types. You have sourdough bread, you have French bread, like that. But Shraddha is not something that's external to you, it is something internal to you. It is in your mind. Basically, it is your mind. So even though you call it faith, Shraddha is much more than that, because it includes everything from your attitude to wealth, to food, to the way you perform your rituals, to your religious duties, to charity, to everything. So all the activities you perform in life can be shown, can be covered under this attitude of Shraddha. So sometimes they say even how a person dresses can reveal a lot about the Shraddha and the kind of attitude. You can have sloppy or dirty clothes, or you could be wearing a very tastefully done clothes, or you could, it depends on what you are. So you can also make out whether such a person is a thinking person, is contemplative. Your whole demeanor basically is how your Shraddha is determined. So what is Shraddha for? For those who have a body only, because dehinam. So it's the individual human being who has, through his body, should communicate the kind of faith he has, or the kind of Shraddha state of mind that he comes with. So it is
State of
threefold.
mind, Dehinam Swabhavaja, for the people who embodied beings, for the embodied beings,
Yeah.
attitudes with which they live. That's all.
Yes,
So Dehinam is not a separate word with Swabhavaja, it's explaining
absolutely.
Swabhavaja only. Sa Swabhavaja, for the embodied being, for the human people, this Bhavati Trivida, threefold Shraddha happens.
Yes. And basically, also, there is a subtle message that you have to gradually veer towards Sattvika. You have to leave your tamasic and rajasic natures and try to change and try to get and adopt more and more sattvic habits and attitudes into your day-to-day living. So uh, then of course he says that every person is permeated basically by the Shraddha. So it is depends on uh, uh, whatever your Shraddha is, that's what you will be conforming to throughout your life. So all your priorities, how you prioritize various events in your life, various appointments, a Gita class like this, for example, all that is determined by what is the kind of priority, and what kind of priority you attach to what kind of activity is also governed by the kind of Shraddha you have, or the kind of attitude you go with. So right from the beginning, of course, Swamiji has been talking to us about priorities. Today we are actually going to learn about how these priorities have to, it's not something that sorry, it's something you can adapt to and you can create. So you have to understand that you have to eventually change your priorities towards the more sattvic priorities. So values, your pursuits, your entire demeanor has to change towards a more sattvic kind of Shraddha, so that is the kind of uh,
Okay,
that's
I
the
think
kind of
your
personality you
health is not,
present.
you should not speak too much today. I think just,
Yes.
yeah, you are having a lot of cough. Rajiv will take over. Rajiv, you say from the beginning, what is the question and what is the answer, and how you connect it with the 16th chapter in short. And what is Shraddha?
Sanjay, Sanjay, in chapter 16, Bhagavan said that in the last verse that the pramana is Shastra, and you have to do whatever is mentioned in Shastra. So when you consider Shastra as a pramana or Veda as a pramana, you need to have Shraddha in it. The word becomes the most important for you, because ultimately whatever you understand will come from Vedas only. So
Yes,
Vedas,
that's the most important point. Yeah.
so Vedas will have uh, um, will allow certain things and will nishade others. So when you follow Vedas, so you have to ha uh, give up certain instinct of yours and follow whatever is enshrined in Vedas, the vidhis that you have been enshrined. So this forms the basis of Shraddha. because unless you have that complete Shraddha cannot be translated as Swamiji has written. Have faith or belief in the word of Veda, you cannot
Trust,
follow
you
it.
can say, you can have
Or
the
trust.
whole attitude depends upon the way what you are. That Shastra is a pramana, but with an attitude of what kind of an attitude you are really pursuing the Shastra in your life. All the values and what the norms and all the activities, what have been prescribed, are you really following it? Because your attitude is what you are, is what is your mind is. That is what Swamiji says, the Bhagavan says, Krishna says, Swabhavaja. Shraddha is Swabhavaja. Then Shraddha is the most important in all your belief systems, in your demeanor, in your whole being, in your attitudes. That is what is he's saying.
Yeah.
Towards the Shastra also you will have. And therefore, this Shastra, even if they are of three kinds. Yeah, continue.
Yes, honey. And Swamiji, as Sharda ji explained that it's a Trivida, and you said it's a Swahabhaja, it's a born out of your nature only, and uh, Sattvic, Tamasic, and Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. These are the three Shraddhas you have. Basically, these are the state of mind, because state of mind only reflects the person. So we'll have a three kind of attitudes in a person: Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. So, as Shadari said, that they'll affect, they make the whole being what he is. His walking, talking, his conversations, his dress, and the way he approaches the guru. Everything will be, and the deities deities that he venerates, the food that he eats, everything is permeated by that Shraddha. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
so, जी Sanjay.
Okay. And what are the three things he says? Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshamsi rajasaha pretan bhuta gadam shanye yajante tamasa jana.
So
Fourth
the
verse.
first thing, Bhagwan says that the kind of deities that you venerate will depend upon the shraddha that you have. So the person who is sattvic will always follow or will propitiate devas like Indra, Varuna, etc. And the people who are rajasic will venerate yakshas and goblins. While Tamasic people, they will be sharing to uh, uh, the pretas. So they have three different kind of sadhanas, and a sattvic person does it for his antakarana shuddhi, while a rajasic is trying to get some gains, and tamasic is doing all this to harm some people. So these are the three kind of this threefold Shraddha will determine the kind of people that you have that you venerate. And in
Okay.
verse 5 and 6,
I'll
Bhagavan talks.
come to that. I'll come to that.
Jason.
अशास्त्रविहितं घोरं तप्यन्ते ये तपो जनाः दम्भाहङ्कारसंयुक्ताः कामरागबलान्विताः कर्षयन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्राममचेतसः मां चैवान्तः शरीरस्थं तान् विद्यासुरनिश्चयान् तो ये जनाहा those people who dambha ahankara sanyuktaha, they are riddled with pretension and egoity. Dambha is pretension. You pretend to be somebody, to be doing lot of, devotion. Now I'm very religious person. I attend Gita classes, therefore I'm most religious. And all those things, you have that dabba. Only for these people are doing classes these days, you know that. Many spiritual groups are there. They don't have to do anything with the study. They just enroll themselves in the Gita. See, I am attending this Gita class. That's it. So what are you learning from it? That you don't ask. I'm not joking, not talking about you people. I'm talking mostly it is like that these days. One day me and Rajiv were discussing about this. That's why I'm speaking. Damba, Ahankara, Sanyukta, riddled with potential and egoity. It has become kind of a fashion these days, that you do. I have so many things. I do also Gita class, I do Upanishad class. I go to this pravachana, that pravachana. And lifestyle is just one of the many things. It is not one and the only thing. That is not Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. In and through everything, you have to have that this is the clarity of purpose is there. So Kama, so with the riddle with pretension and egoity, Kama Raga Balanvitaha. Anvitaha is endowed with Kama and Raga, both words are together. The Swamiji says Kama is general, that passion. And Raga is your total strong passion when Raga is longing for completing that passion. Longing that for fulfilling that passion what you have. That is Kama and Raga. So Kama, Raga, Anvitaha, endowed with strong passion and longing. Achetasaha. Why? Because why they are having all this? Because they are lacking in discrimination. That is why they are having all this. They are achetasaha, non-thinking people, lacking in discrimination. And that is why all these things are there in them. They are driven by these passions and longings. Shast, shar, shat, what is that? Shastras, what is that? Just a minute. Sharirastham. Sharirastham bhutagramam. Sometimes I am not able to read the English words. So Sharirastham bhutagramam, the sense organs obtaining in the body. Sharirastham. Bhutagramam can mean any, the assemblage of the bhutas. But what kind of bhutas, panchabhutas, that which are obtaining in the body, and what kind of bhuta that which a panchikaranam has happened? The sense organs. So sharirastham bhutagramam, all the sense organs obtaining in the body, antasharirastham mancha. And I also am there in the body. So what happens when I am there in the body? They are all karshayanta, emaciating, a shastra vihitam, not enjoined by the shastra. They are doing the tapa, which is ghora tapa, emaciating themselves, their whole sense organs, and also not following dharma. That is why they are also they are also troubling me. Me means, how can you trouble? Swamiji says at one point that na hanyate hanyamane sharire, we saw in the second chapter. That it is not an object. Atma is not an object that you can hurt the Atma or that you can do something to the Atma. Then how Bhagavan is hurt? Then how Bhagavan anta sharirastam and mam, they are whatever that is obtaining in the body, because you are doing something adharmic, that is hurtful, that is not doing according to what is to be done. So to say, that is why you are harming the dharma is Ishvara. And that is why dharma is Ishvara, therefore it is harmed. And anything you not enjoined by the Shastra, Ashastra Vihitam, and Ghoram Tapa, that you are doing all the tapas, which is not enjoined by the Shastra, all these kind of religious disciplines you perform, Tan Viddhi, known them to be of the Asura conviction, Asura Nishchayam. These two verses together make one big whole sentence. That is why it is such a long sentence. You see? So you just read one translation of this verse. Those people who are riddled with pretension and egoity, who lack in discrimination, achetasa, endowed with strong passion and longing, kama raga balanvita, who perform terrible religious disciplines. Tapyante ghora tapas. Ghoram tapas tapyante. So they are doing all the religious disciplines, terrible religious disciplines, ashastra vihitam, not enjoined by the Shastra, emaciating the sense organs obtaining in the body. So they are just emaciating the sense organs and also me as well. I am also affected. Who? Me? Bhagavan is speaking, me. So Ishvara. How is Ishvara affected? Because you are not following Dharma. And Dharma is Ishvara. That is how you are affecting Ishvara. You don't affect Atma as such, Brahma as such. But if you are not following Dharma, that is what you are affecting. You are in disharmony with Dharma. So you are performing adharma. Who obtains within the body, may you know them to be of asura conviction, asura conviction. This is the verse. Seema, are you ready today? Something you speak on this? Yeah, you are mute.
Yeah. So tapas here is religious worship that may consist of prayers, rituals, etc. And they're not enjoined by the Sastra, Sastra Vihitam.
Not enjoined by the scriptures.
Yeah.
Ashastra vihitam.
Asash,
Ashastra means Shastra vihitam na. Ashastra vihitam means not
not
enjoined by
enjoined,
the
not enjoined. And it is Ghora, afflicting one's own body, mind, sense complex.
troubling yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the basic thing? What is Bhagavan trying to say here? That's we have seen word to word meaning, but just from your mind, what you have understood by study of this, that is what is.
So these people who do tapas that is not enjoined by the Shastra are riddled with pretension and equity, damba ahankara, samyukta.
Yeah.
And their religious activities are meant to declare to the world that they are religious. This is damba.
Sure. Right. Who else will speak on this verse?
Swamiji,
Vandana.
these kind of people are doing tapas just for their name and fame, just because they wanted to show off that they are the religious people. That is one of the reason. And they are doing it out of the strong passion and longing, and even they are inflicting their sense organ and the body also in order to arrive the somehow the result. And their meant is not for sattvic, means it is not meant for the antakaran suddhi. That is the difference between the two.
So, like when Ravan did it, it wasn't for antakarna shuddhi.
So Ravan is all for powers they are doing.
It was all for power.
Again, the siddhis.
Yeah.
Swamiji, the person Bhutgram Chetsa, the people actually Gyanis are also, they are not feeding their sense organs. And these people are also not feeding their sense organs. But the difference between these two is that the motive is different. One is
Motives
doing
are
for
different.
moksha, and
Intentions and motives behind doing.
Behind doing is different. So they are doing all these things just for getting the worldly things or to harm some peoples or like that.
Who else?
The difference.
What else is given in this verse? Vandana.
As Mithilesh ji said that motives are important, and behind the motives, what are our rag and dve? We have to take care of our rags. What are our longings? That exactly is the most important point according to me, because they decide the methods, the means which we are going to adopt, how strong that longing is, and whether I am going to follow dharma to fulfill that longing, or just by hook or crook I do it. So for that, we have to be aware our longings. That we have to be very aware and be alert.
Riya?
Yeah, so these people who are doing tapas are not only afflicting themselves, but are also afflicting others in this process. As we talk about, as it's mentioned in the book, about harming other soul in the sake of offering it to a god. So they're not only afflicting themselves, but they're also afflicting others in this process, and they're endowed with damba and ahankara, which is pretentiousness and egoism, and all of it is because of their raga, dvesha, and kama, which is they have this because they have extreme ambition and extreme lust, and they have this extreme ambition and lust because of the non-discriminative mind of what is to be done, what is not to be done. They do not understand that all these pursuit, all this pretentious wouldn't take them to where they actually want to go. So it is all because of their non-discriminative mind that they do not understand what is to be done and what is not to be done, and their ambitions and lust also always keeps on increasing. They and they also end up doing the rituals which are not adjoined by the shastra, and thus are also in this process are also afflicting Bhagavan, also afflicting me, the Krishna, because they're not going as per the dharma. They're not doing what is to be done and what is not to be done, and afflicting their sense organs, and controlling, and they're all just living a pretentious life. And all of this is important to understand, so that we in our life understand where we have these asuri pravritis, all these asuri pravritis, and try to refrain from it. So it is important to know all of this so that we can refrain from the asuri pravritis in our life as well.
Yeah. Well. Who else? Kapilji, you are not on with the video today. Kapil Kaushik. हाँ. Where are you? देहरादून और दिल्ली? अभी आप म्यूट हो, कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है हम लोगों को, क्या बोल रहे हो?
Sorry.
Yes.
Well, actually, my mobile is, not very stable today. So I have to, carry it in my hand. That's why I just switched off the video. So I'm in Delhi and I'm at someone else's place.
Yeah, say something on what you are listening, the discussion.
Yeah. So basically, what I have understood in this verse is that there are people who are sort of Asuri Sampat, afflicted by Asuri Sampat, and they do the puja or rituals which are not dharmic. So they are like different type of puja for pleasure and emerging out of rag and kam. So rag
Kama and raga. Kama is passion and raga is longing.
longing, yeah.
When
So
these two words are used together, so kama is really a passion with which you are, like Swamiji gives an example of presidency election, with
right.
how much of passion you have to go out for to become a president of America, how you go with all your whole, to be nominated as a person for this, to be a president of America is also not a small thing. And that is what happens. This passion is there.
So and they get afflicted themselves as well as their family. So nobody is happy, with this kind of rituals and siddhis and power and struggle. So
No,
that's
nobody is
what.
happy because they are happy with that only, and that is what they want. So what they want, then they get it, then they will be happy. But that is what their passion is all about. Power of
Oh,
also all those things. Yes, that's it. Anything else? New point? Any other new point? Anybody? Otherwise, we go forward.
so Swamiji, with your permission, I'll put my video off because otherwise I'll be holding my mobile
Okay,
all
okay.
this while.
You have the holder, or you can
No,
put
no, I don't have. I'm just holding in my hand, otherwise.
table or some computer also you can put on and an angle the screen and then put
Okay.
that also you can do. Yeah,
Let's try. Yeah.
that's it. There are all ways and means to do certain things when you have the will to do it.
Well, I don't know how long it will stand like this, but
No,
see.
no, it can. It is very stable. Right? Yes. So we go to the next verses now. Now he takes up the food. So because now, which is the verse number now we have to take? 7. आहारस्त्वपि सर्वस्य त्रिविधो भवति प्रियः यज्ञस्तपस्तथा दानं तेषां भेदमिमं शृणु. And therefore also for everyone sarvasya priya, what is liked by ahara. Ahara means that which is taken. Ahiyate iti ahara. Ahara, ahiyate, that which is taken up by the senses. Not only food, whatever you take, but here mainly it is talking of the food. And the ahara, they are three kinds of, threefold, trividah. Trividah ahara. Trividah bhavanti. They are threefold. So too yajna rituals, and also tapas, the religious disciplines, danam. All these things can be interpreted in these terms of sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. So this difference between this whole thing, you have to listen now carefully. He has just summarized what he is going to speak. Otherwise, only one thing. So Arjuna should know what is coming. Then he is all ears, Arjuna. So he says ahara and yajna, tapa, danam. They all these things also trivida, threefold happens. And that difference among them, you should listen what threefold differences are there that you should listen to. Rajiv?
Swamiji, because Bhagavan has said that everything is Trivida, and the food also is Trivida, also because depending upon the Shraddha that you have, or the gunas that you have, you like certain particular food. And because food subtly affects the mind, and through the mind only, with contemplation, that you can gain jnanam. So we must understand that food affects mind, and mind, quality of mind is important for you to gain the ultimate. So the food becomes important. For Rajasic, for Tamasic people, the food is very different, which will be discussed later. And for Sattvic, of course, they believe that the food has to be nourishing. It should be good. I mean, it should not only nourish the body, it should nourish the, it should look, it should be pleasant to see, and should succulent and creamy, and it should improve vitality and increase the life force. It should not agitate the mind, so that the mind can be used for contemplation. The mind can be agitated by anything, and the food can also do it. So that kind of food should not be eaten or not suitable for mumukshus, which disturbs your mind or makes the body uneasy or reduces the vitality of body. So that's how food becomes important.
Yeah.
And
And food
Swamiji,
and trivida, all the other things also, yajna,
ji
dana,
sir,
tapas,
uh,
all these things are
because
also talked of.
all
So he
aspects
just
of life.
enumerates and then he'll take up one by one. Yeah.
Ji sir.
Mm.
And Swamiji, because food improves your longevity, and it gives you, it nourishes you. So sattva, they are very careful about their food. They don't take too much of a tea or a coffee or the food that causes excessive sleepiness, and they want a food which gives the strength and keeps you healthy, arogya, and which is tasty, and it's also aesthetically pleasing. Uh, uh, because it should be it should be presented in a way should be pleasing. So all these varieties of food are should be pleasing to the mind as well, and the presentation should be good. And then what are the kind of food that Rajasic people love? These are the foods which are bitter, sour, salty,
That will come
excessively
to the
hot.
shlokas. We are just doing this shloka. One by one, we'll go to the
Ji,
shloka.
ji, Swamiji. And this shloka, Swamiji, this is a eighth
This
shloka
is
is over,
seventh we
Swamiji.
were doing.
Seventh and eighth, I have
Eighth also.
eighth,
Ayus
eighth also.
Bala Rogya Sukha Priti Vivardhana Rasya Snigdha Stira Hridya Ahara Satvika Priya. So Ahara Satvika Priya. What are the Sattva? So Ayu Sattva Bala Arogya Sukha Priti Vivardhana. Those which increase your Vivardhana is increasing your longevity. Ayuhu. Sattva. Sattva means mental clarity. Sattva does not mean sattva guna. Sattva means sattva also mind. Sattva is used in Shastra for mind. Bala is the strength. Arogya is health. Sukha is pleasure in taste. And Preeti Swamiji has taken as aesthetic pleasures. So that which increased all these things, the foods which increase these things. And what kind of foods you eat? You know, rasyaha, succulent, that which can be succulent. Snigdaha, creamy, all creamy. Sthiraha, fortifying. That fortifying, Swamiji says, the bones. Sthira which stay in the body to make the bones, etc., for a longer period of time. That is sthira. That stays for a longer time. Those kind of foods in the body. Hridyaha, pleasing to the heart. Pleasing to the heart, Swamiji says that food should be presented in such a manner that you really, feel this is very palatable. This is you really tempting foods that very nice on the table and wherever presentable enough. Hridyaha, the foods you really love to eat, kinds of that way. Ahara. Because Sattvic people will always be very, very, very cautious what to eat and what not to eat. And also the kind of foods once you see, sometimes they you don't want to eat. The presenting is that they are presented in such a manner or they look like that. That is what is meant here by Hridyaha, Ahara. So these are Sattvika Priya that are loved by the Sattvic people. So these are the kind of Sattvic foods described. So you can very well see, the kind of people are very fussy about their foods. And actually, I have seen you become very fussy after a particular age. When your digestion is becoming a problem. I have become like that now. So when health goes back, then you really become cautious. What to eat, what not to eat, what oil, what kind, how much cooked, how much not cooked, what leafy vegetables, fruits, seeds, nuts, and all the proportions. All that goes along with that. I have seen now anywhere, I was in ashram in Rishikesh last year, 2 months. And I really was eating what all was given there. Bhandaras were happening and I became really sick after that. 2 months and I had all the diseases. I had fatty liver, I had prostrate, I had, what to say, fatty liver, prostate, BP started. High blood pressure started. Because of food, because of cold weather, too much cold, and the kind of foods. The whole problem started with the food. And I did not know why it was happening to me. The kind of foods you eat at a particular age after you cross an age, they can really spoil all your health. And I have seen that I became very cautious about that after that. Anyway, so that I was remembering reading all these things. That any kind of oil people eat these days, refined oils, whatever the way it is cooked, The all steamed rice, what kind of rice you are eating? All polished rice you are eating. Now that सब लोग आटा खाते हैं, it's a gluten-free world now. Atta is all gluten, and that will go and stick in your आंतों में जाके जम जाता है. That is what now the study says, and now and from childhood onwards, we are just eating this rice and wheat, rice and wheat. And rice also very best of rice. Basmati we think is the best rice. Basmati, they say this is not best of rice. Polished rice are very bad. They are nothing. Everything is taken away. You have to have the brown rice, or raw rice, any rice which is raw, not polished. All that is Satvika food this is talked about here. Yes, anybody wants to add on these points, then we read the verses and then we go to Rajas. Till Satvik you can go. Satvik food will make your Satvik mind.
Swamiji, somewhere that in Upanishad, long back I have read it, somewhere that some slok was there where it was mentioned that whatever food you eat, most of the part it will go as a waste. Then the part of it will be used for your muscle, and the essence of it will be used for your mind. And
Mind. Ras jo hota
similarly,
hai, the deepest, yes.
and similarly, whatever water you are drinking, that most of the water goes pass on by way of urine. Then whatever remaining is there, it becomes a blood, and whatever essence remains, that becomes a vital force.
Yes.
So in Hindi there is a kahavat कि जैसा अन्न वैसा मन, means kind of food whatever you eat, so will be your mind. And similarly, whatever is you are drinking means jal, jaisa jal, vaisa bal. Whatever water you are taking, you will have that kind of strength.
Yes.
And second, one question just I wanted to know, just for my jigyasa purpose, that actually eating habits is being governed by the geographical location, the person where he lives. Generally in hills area or the near coastal area, most of the people are non-vegetarian, which is not supposed to be a sattvic. But whether will it come in the way of their becoming a religious or this religious minded people?
No, Swamiji writes that, see, it depends upon the food effects, but that does not mean what your basic intents. Swamiji says, I have seen non-vegetarian people also being contemplative. In the Gita, here he writes. But that is not a rule. It's not a rule. What kind of evil, like if you are just, he gives example of Godse. He was a Brahmin and he killed Gandhiji. He was eating most of the sattvic foods. Still, he was cruel. Cruel means that example is okay because what he did was he had his whole thinking behind it, which was very relevant to what he did. But then the act finally is just pointing out of killing somebody. So that is what it is. So it is not just a rule that sattvic people cannot be cruel or the people kind of tamas food cannot be contemplative.
Swamiji,
So
the sattvic people should also take certain points into consideration. Is the source from where they are getting that food, and how it is done,
that is
where it is
another deep point about what kind of a money
credibility, and then the quality of the food, and then
why they say danam, if you do some portion of 10% of your income, what you have, that becomes shuddha. Anna becomes shuddha, what you eat in home. That is what also.
quality and the quantity also should be taken into the consideration.
Yes, quantity also, yes.
Quality and quantity also. One of the main features of a sattvic food.
Anybody wants to add any points other than this? Otherwise, we'll go to the Rajasika people for food. Katvam lalavanatyushta tikshna ruksha vidahinaha ahara rajasaseshtaha dukkha shokamaya pradaha. So in your books you can correct if you have rajasaseshtaha, one sir is missing. Katvam kattu amla lavana ati ushna तीक्ष्ण रूक्ष विदाही. So vidahin, vidahinau, vidahinah, vidahi. So katu means bitter. Amla is sour. Lavana is salty. Ati word Swamiji says will go with every word. Ati katu, ati amla, ati lavana, ati ushna, ati tikshna, ati ruksha, ati vidahi. So very bitter, very sour, very salty, excessively hot, very pungent. Tikshna is pungent. Ruksha is astringent. And Vidahi is causing inflammation in the body. See how much Gita is really taking, looking into this whole aspect of food, so detailed. Ahara rajasasyeshta. Rajasasya ishtaha. Ishtaha. These are the aharas, these kind of foods are beloved, priya, ishtaha to the Rajasa people. And what kind of food they are eating? Dukkha shoka amaya pradaha, which gives dukkha. Because once it is not digested properly, dukkha, shoka, amaya is disease. Giving pradaha, these kind of foods. So you can think of what kind of foods, all those things are there. And anybody wants to say some points in this? Ati lavana. I have seen people adding so much of salt. You know, some people really eat. And Andhra people, I have seen eating so much of chili. They will carry pickles with them. And pickles hone ke saath saath, they know, because with the chili, you will have a lot of oils and ghees. You have to add with that to digest it. So all these ati tikshna, all these kind of foods, their habits, as you say, culturally also. So chili means Andhra. So I have seen in ashram, I was there in Coimbatore ashram. So all kind of people from all regions were there. So used to eat together. So one brahmacharini from Telugu brahmacharini, I had kept her name Pickle Swamini. Because she used to carry the pickle bottle with her and so much of pickle she will use to eat. Because she is habitual to eat with the pickle.
I've lived in
Venkatesh, you
Asia.
are from Andhra, na? Venkatesh?
Yeah, very much. Yes. Yes.
What I'm saying is true or not?
Yeah, true. Very much true.
Very much.
Yeah, yes.
Swamiji, I lived for 8 years in Andhra,
Yeah.
in Hyderabad, and went through all the pickle stage.
Sharda lived in Karnataka. Karnataka people is basically more sattvika, I think.
Yeah, no, not so spicy.
They
Not
put good in the food.
Not
Ragi
at
and
all,
all this.
Swamiji, not at all.
But
Not at all.
nobody can beat.
There are a huge number of
Gujarati.
communities which eat beef and pork in
Acha,
Karnataka
Okay.
And seafood.
and seafood. The
Coastal
Gaudas
line.
love their pig. So they eat a lot of meat.
So anyway, I'll go faster in these, you know, all these portions.
Swamiji, they've mentioned in this also that the food, all these foods are actually arogya, but have to be taken in moderation.
Yes.
When they're taken too much, then they become, they have become dangerous or give pain, sorrow, and ill health.
Yeah. So, yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitancha yat uchchishthamapi cha medhyam bhojanam tamasapriyam. So now we come to tamasapriya. Yatayamam, that which is stale or inadequately cooked. Yatayamam. So stale or inadequately cooked, both ways. Gatar, so these people are talking, बहुत कच्चा कच्चा खाना चाहिए. I tell you sometimes, you know, Kapil ji, you should be careful about these kind of things because many people say uncooked. Sometimes after an age, certain age, uncooked food is not digestible properly. And many different theories are there. So we have to be very careful about it. That cooking is also necessary. How much you should not burn the whole thing, that's all. But cooking, uncooked food like sprouts, people who eat raw. Sometimes, and they are not digestible. Many things they say, kacha khao, kacha khao. And then I have seen they spoil their stomachs also sometimes. So we have to be very careful. Gata rasam, that from which the essence has gone. Rasa gata rasam. Rasaha gataha yasmat gata rasam. This is a samasa. In a particular way it is said. Gataha rasaha yasmat. From what kind of a food? Rasa, the very essence. Rasa is the very essence is gone from the food. It is no more food. What you think it is food is just some toothpick to fill up the stomach. Puti is putrid. माने खराब हो गया. Paryushitam, overnight. See, paryushitam food, overnight food you should never eat. आजकल तो refrigerators, my God, all people in the West. So some used to say people used to cook for 1 week, Saturday, Sunday week, all holidays. Therefore, they cook for a week. They don't have time to cook during the working days. All these US people will know better. I don't know. And paryushitam, uchishtam, that which is left over, refuse, amedhyam, unfit as an offering. You cannot offer this food, the kind of food, to Bhagavan. Amedhyam, that kind of a food, right? Bhojanam, this kind of food, tamasa priyam is beloved to a tamasic person. Now you just think, you have read all this Gita, I don't want to dwell upon this. मेरा तो दिल में कुछ होता है.
Swamiji, what about things like idli dosas, which are fermented atta?
Sometimes fermented food is good for the bacteria, are good for that.
They say it's very good kimchi, this and that.
Yes, gut. The bacteria which go to the bigger gut, तो राई का जो कांजी वगैरह
Kanji, I
Ji,
was
ji,
just
ji,
going to
kanji
say
also.
kanji.
is very good.
Even Swamiji, I mean, today in today's day and world, putting things in the fridge, how is it that bad?
Huh?
I mean, putting stuff in the fridge and eating it the next day.
It is not good actually. They say it is not healthy.
It's not that bad either, Swamiji. I mean, there's
Not that bad in the sense whether you have to see the essence of the food should be there. It is,
Sure,
you see,
sure.
the Ayurveda speaks of the time limits also, that after cooking, whether you refrigerate it or not, after cooking, after putting in the refrigerator, how many hours food is there? So refrigeration, you can just still maybe elongate some for a few more hours.
Yeah. But
But
I
then
mean, it's
still it
not.
is considered not to be good. So that is why जितना हम लोग तो जब साधु लोग होते हैं, जितना खाते हैं बनाते हैं, मैं जो खाता हूँ वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर देता हूँ immediately.
बिल्कुल.
What I do, I just distribute it. ये स्वामी है, ये मेड है, इसको सब कुछ जो कुछ भी आज भी मैंने I made porial and I distributed best of foods and whatever. So best of foods only you should distribute, not the stale food. Immediately you should distribute. So why should you refrigerate? Kitna? Because Grahastha is supposed to do 5 yagyas. Manushya yagya, Bhut yagya, Pitra yagya, Dev yagya, Rishi yagya. So from your kitchen, actually you are supposed to feed all the animal kingdom, whatever little around you. Manushya, all the people who are needy, hungry, and they don't get food. All these you have to take care of. And we are just making so much abundantly and then just refrigerating so that we can eat. We have to
But
distinguish.
these days, Swamiji, there are hardly people, there are no takers of food at all.
No,
That is
it
a
is
big
not
issue.
like that. People are there. If you not, I'm not saying everyone you have to distribute around the. For a grahastha, Swamiji used to say you have to look, you have to call and look around if somebody is there of such nature. Some dog, some cow, some birds, some ants always are there. cows, dogs, kawa, ये सब भूत यज्ञ है. You have to give. The food which is stale or inadequately cooked, from which is the essence has gone, which is putrid, overnight refuse and unfit as an offering, is beloved to the. Let's go further. I don't want to discuss all that. Now we go to the rituals. अपलाकांक्षिभिर्यज्ञः विदृष्टो य युज्यते यष्टव्यमेवेति मनः समाधाय स सात्विकः. So now he is talking about the sattvic rituals. So that ritual which is by those who do not expect a result. Swamiji discusses then, can you perform any action without expecting a result? We have discussed this point very much. See, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi really means that and that alone. The clarity of purpose means Vyavasayatmika Buddhi means my purpose is what? Finding myself. Ultimate purpose of life is what? Discovering myself. A meaningful me. A life which is lived meaningfully. And that once you discover that, then you perform all your actions pertaining to this end. Meaningful living. So whether it is dharma, whether it is artha, whether it is kama, that meaningful living through dharma, artha and kama. Artha, all the securities, whatever is necessarily essential. Kama, whatever essential bhogas. Dharma, whatever essential to be done in life. Sattvika. These are all called sattvika. Then because this will purify your mind. And that is other than purification of mind, whatever you are having strong likes and dislikes, that is not called as sattvika. Strong likes and dislikes, guided by your likes and dislikes, not guided by dharma. That is aphalakangshibihi. Aphalakangshibihi, phalakangshibihi is done with the desire. Aphala is negative of that. Do not expect a result by those rituals which are done. Vididrishta. And also it should be enjoined by the Shastra. Yashtavyam, that this ritual is to be performed. That which is Yashtavyam must be done. Thus, Manaha Samadhaya, and it is for the making up of the mind. Mind means to really resolve your antakarana. Then that is the Swamiji gives two meanings. You can tell me what are the two meanings. This ritual is just to be performed. This is what is Sattvika. That what must be done, must be done. Not that what will I get, what will happen, why should I do it. All those ideas are not there. That what has come to your court, that you have to do to your side, to what is to be done by me in a given situation, must be done. Right? So anybody who wants to speak on this, now it's a portion which we can speak. Food, everybody knows. Yes, Sharda?
So basically, he's talking about the rituals. What is a Sattvika ritual in this number 11? So where you perform a ritual purely for the sake of the ritual, not for any phala and afala akankshi. Basically, you don't have any result in mind. The ritual is kind of enjoined by the Shastra, but it's not done with any specific purpose, only for the purpose of, for the sake of doing for just for the sake of doing it. So basically, any karma, whatever you do, the ultimate that it can give you is a mind which can resolve a resolved mind. And then, so as long as you have your purushartha, your vyavasayatmika buddhi is clear, that is, you are clear that you are not in it for any result, you will fulfill all your rituals and your religious duties as if it's just a it's part of your, it's a normal natural action that you do without really looking at it as you doing something for the sake of a result. So you will have a more tranquil mind. You will have a more probably a more you'll be able to focus on the ritual with far more uh, seriousness, and you will only be doing your what do you say, the antakarna shuddhi, basically, so that you are bringing yourself closer to moksha. So that is the only purpose, and that is how you will gradually, if you keep doing the rituals in the sattvic format, that is how you will gradually start being in karma yoga, where you are only doing antakarna shuddhi. So a karma yogi basically will be doing a sattvic ritual.
Bala Samadhaya, 2 points Swamiji says. One is resolution of the
Samadhana is ritual, resolution of the mind,
uh,
also to make up the mind.
uh,
So both.
make up the mind focused and single
Uh,
point. Yeah.
so both of them are
Freeness of the mind, preparedness of the
yes.
mind.
So basically, whatever we've been talking about karma yoga, the same attitude is what you must be doing your ritual with. Then it is a sattvic ritual. The ritual is the same, but it has no desires attached to it.
Desires, binding desires. Yeah. So that's it. Anybody else wants to say some point on this? House is open. Anybody? Simple. Abhisandhaya tu phalam dambhartamapi chaivayat ijjate bharatashretha tanyagyam viddhi rajasam. So what is rajasa? Oh Bharatashretha, oh the greatest. तो श्रेष्ठ is the greatest, the सर्वश्रेष्ठ हम कहते हैं ना, तो भरत श्रेष्ठ, सर्वश्रेष्ठ मैंने सब में श्रेष्ठ, और भरत श्रेष्ठ मैंने भरत वंश में जो सबसे श्रेष्ठ है, राइट. फलम अभिसंधाय, कीपिंग अ रिजल्ट इन व्यू. पहले बोला अपलकांक्षी भी, हियर इट इज सेइंग फलम अभिसंधाय दंभार्थम अपि च, and also one showing one's own proclaiming oneself to be, oh, how religious I am. You see, I am doing so much activity, charity, and I'm doing so much of this ritual, that ritual. All show inside खोखला है. अच्छा, so really one has to be very careful whether it is just to put up a show or really I mean it in my life. So that is what it is. दंभार्थमपि चैवयत् इज्जते भरतश्रेष्ठ tam yagyam viddhi rajasam. This is what it is, rajasam. So all the rajasic people, they generally are putting up a show of what they are doing, right? Vidihinam asishtannam mantrahinam adakshinam Shraddha virahitam yagyam tamasam parichakshate. So, and tamasika is what? Vidhihinam, that which is bereft of the stipulations of Shastra. Vidhihinam, vidhi is all the stipulated vidhi, Shastra vidhi. Shastra vidhi utsrijya, that was the question of Arjuna. So, vidhi utsrijya, that which is given up, that bereft of the stipulation one is doing, that really tamasic people. And asishtannam, asishtannam is food which is for the distribution, that you are not doing. You are not distributing what is to be distributed. I said Manusha Yagya, Dev Yagya, Pitra Yagya, Bhut Yagya, Rishi Yagya from your kitchen. Because Grahastha is the main householder, really speaking. Brahmachari can ask Bhiksha, Sannyasi can ask Bhiksha. Sannyasi is not allowed to cook actually, generally. But what kind of people are sannyasis also? If they are Kutichaka sannyasi, so they have to stay at one place and then can cook. There are different rules. And so Grahastha is the one who has to be really, has all the duties which has to, from his kitchen, he has to perform to really, not for that it is only dana, for his own growth, for his own expansion of the mind, expanding his own, to be in harmony with the total. And total is represented by the world around you. Manushya, Bhuta, Deva, Pitra, Rishi, all what is around you. That is what you are identified with by your action, not mere words. Just we say so many things. We don't do anything. That's what it is. So they say that a ritual which is bereft of the stipulations of Shastra, without distribution of food, without proper recitation of mantras, without distribution of wealth, adakshinam. You see, dakshina is a very important thing we should understand. Adakshinam in every ritual, every yajna, whether it's a jnana yajna or any kind of a yajna. So even when you call a saint, sometimes, you have to give minimum, something you have to give, offer. I'm not saying the big amount of dakshina or whatever. Some dakshina has to be given so as to acknowledge. And that is why in any bhandaras you will see when some with sankalpa, when you distribute annam, dakshina is also given. And dakshina is a word which is to be understood in a proper way, because that is for your own good. Because without that, the ritual is not complete. And that is what he is saying, adakshinam, without any dakshina. Shraddha virahitam. And then you are just doing for the sake of heck of doing it for the society, and there's no shraddha in doing the thing, and yet you're doing half-heartedly, not following the norms. These are all tamasa. You can add so much as Swamiji is already given. It is complete in every respect. If you read Gita study, so beautiful portion. So sorry, this time Sharda mistakenly posted, and some people like Kapilji, he read the whole thing and he told me, Kapilji, Swamiji, I read the whole thing. Then I said, okay, wonderful, he read the whole thing. Then when Ria gave me a message, Swamiji, this is not 17. She just very, politely says, not saying this is not this thing, this is not that. Her words were direct. Swamiji, this is not that, whatever. Her words were very distinct. This is not the prescribed thing. Then I checked. Then I found it was 14. Then I thought, Arey, Kapil ji has already read there must be other people. Because it is also talking about Gunas, 14th chapter.
It was kind of very similar, Swamiji.
Similar. So that is why Sharda also made a mistake, because it's a similar thing, na? Because she could not, and she was having so many of work. Some mistakes sometimes happen. So you see how much she is doing from the very beginning, 4 years. She's posting everything all the time.
Swamiji, I have to drop because I have another call.
Now we are finishing only. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
So this is it. So what I'm trying to say, all this, that is why I had to write so many notes, that please, because study again, because this is 17th chapter and it is written 17 there, so you can make a mistake. So anyway, how many people did that mistake? The Kapilji did, I know. He did, Anand did. He read the whole thing. Some people who don't have books, they made a mistake because other people read from the books. Rohini, your mic is on now, na? Can be put on? Not really. You have to get it okay. So anybody else want to make point on these rituals, Sattvika, Rajasika and Tamasika? Ria?
Just for the tamasic rituals, it's mentioned that even if we do not follow all the stipulated to-dos that are mentioned in Shastra, but if this can all be rectified, but if the Shraddha is tamasic, but if you do not do it with the right Shraddha and the motive, that cannot be rectified. So even if someone is not able to chant the mantras properly, it can be, you can make up for it, but if the right shraddha is not there, nothing can be done. So it all comes under tamasic rituals.
Okay, that's it for today. I think time is up. That is why he wanted to go. Also, he must be, people have to do so many other things also. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji. Thank you.
Pranam Swamiji, Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hare